Welcome, everybody, to our Thursday, November 16th City Commission meeting. We will call the meeting to order. And if you will please rise, Isabella will lead us in the invocation and the Pledge of Allegiance.
Good evening. Let us take a moment to reflect together, each according to our own individual beliefs and intentions. As we begin this meeting and as we enter into the season of thanks, may we be gracious, grateful, and generous to ourselves and to our community. Amen. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Isabella. So what we're going to do tonight before we go into citizen input is Jennifer Bramley, our city manager, is going to give us an update on Baywood Shores. I know there was a meeting last night.
There was.
And what the next steps are going to be. So I'm going to turn it over to you.
Thank you, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Commissioners. So we did, as you know, have a meeting last night at Baywood Shores. The meeting was at the community center. We'd originally wanted to be in their clubhouse, but we thought we would have more people than would fit the clubhouse, and also community center had the AV equipment that we needed. And that was true, because I think we had probably 75 to 100 people at the meeting. We started with the staff presentation, was very close to the North Douglas staff presentation in terms of what occurred in the neighborhood during Hurricane Idalia, and in the impacts also of sea level rise and so on and so forth. I don't think that it's interesting how two neighborhoods could be so different in terms of the impact of that storm on them. They're different drainage systems, they're different impacts, and so on and so forth. And the North Douglas folks were really talking about Hammock Park and the water treatment area adjacent to Hammock Park, but both were concerned about tidal flooding. In essence, roads flooding on a sunny day. And it was much more of a concern to Baywood Shores. They did suffer more damage than any other area of the city as a result of Hurricane Idalia. We started discussing the storm surge, and the residents in that area were adamant that the flooding was not caused by storm surge. They're there. They're watching it. They're the subject matter experts, and so we're going to go with that it wasn't really a storm surge issue, that it was an issue of tidal flooding in the neighborhood. So it was a very difficult meeting. It was almost 3 hours long. The residents were very upset. They're very passionate. Some of them are not in their homes as a result of the storm. And I don't blame them. I mean, I don't, for what they're going through. It's a difficult situation. For some areas of the city, it was disastrous. In others, it was just another day, another rainstorm, So they want short-term solutions, and they want long-term solutions. And so I just want to talk a little bit about the short-term solutions. And we did go through this with the residents in the neighborhood. They have 11 areas, pipes, if you will, outfalls, where the neighborhood drains. Of those 11 areas, seven of them have what we call a duckbill, or a check valve at the end. So what happens essentially is that the water is able to flow out, but is not able to flow in. And that should address tidal flooding. Obviously, the system that we have there is not addressing it adequately, and we need to address that as quickly as possible. And if you put it in terms of what the residents want, I would say yesterday. And so I'm going to talk a little bit about the issues and then circle back, if you don't mind, about how we're going to address the shorter term issues. The residents want an open line of communication as well from the city with the residents, and they ask that we establish a task force. We are going to open that line of communication on a regular basis. We'll set up a task force of sorts, if you will, and that is, there's some folks in the neighborhoods who are subject matter experts, one in emergency management, another in procurement, there may be some grant writing in there as well. And so what we'd like to do is sit down with the neighborhood on a regular basis and talk about the longer term solutions in the neighborhood. as well as the shorter-term solutions and what we're doing immediately. They want us to acquire or have on staff a grant writer in order to go after some of those federal, state, and in some cases county grants in regards to resiliency. And also they're looking for someone to help them kind of navigate through the FEMA process, the SBA process, and that type of a thing. And I had conveyed to them that actually when I was working for City of Coral Springs, when Wilma came through as a Category 3, we did do that. We had someone who worked for the city for a year who helped them navigate. And as you remember, during COVID-19, we also had the same for our small businesses to help mitigate the impact. So we're looking into those two things. You know, oftentimes, and I conveyed to the group there, there's writing grants, there's getting grants, and then there's administering those grants. And so we have to have the resources also to do that. It doesn't do us any good to get a nice big grant that we can't administer. And so we're looking at those things moving forward as a short-term and a long-term solution as well. In regards to the duct bills and the check valves, what I was really concerned about last night was procurement and the procurement process. We have to competitively bid if it's over a certain amount. The good news is, I did caucus with staff today in regards to how quickly we can get this done. And we do have companies on our continuing services contracts. And just for those listening, a continuing service contract is the city commission will approve the contract with the firm ahead of time so that we put them in a list of firms that we can just pick them out and use them in order to make improvements. And we do have one that has this type of a check valve available. And we're going to work with them to get this done as quickly as possible. They are not cheap. You know, I think that there was some discussion last night about this is not a overly expensive solution. The better the technology gets, the more expensive it gets. That said, I'm going to continue to work with our staff to find the funding in order to get those 11 outfalls addressed. We are going to be in the neighborhood. We are going to be using a telemetry system. We're going to be putting a little wire down there and looking at what the infrastructure looks like in terms of the pipes that go from the drains out to the sound. We actually think that they're probably in pretty good shape, and the reason for that is that if it's flowing up, then the water is coming through, and then it's diminishing, so the water is flowing to and fro. So we'll find out exactly what the condition is of those, both the duct bills and the infrastructure as well, leading up to the drains, and we can do that relatively quickly. What will impact us is that, of course, we can only do it at low tide. Right? So the residents should see us in and out of the neighborhood at low tide, having a look under the covers, if you will, at the streets. So you received an email today. I received the same email from one resident who wants to get this done by June 1st, and that is most certainly our goal, to get it done by June 1st. The other aspect is meeting with them regularly. So we have everybody's email address, as we normally do when they sign up or check in to the meeting. We'll create an email group. Sue is going to create a newsletter that we'll send out to the community once a month. And the newsletter will kind of give an idea of what our progress is so far. Keep in mind, I mean, in some months there will be no progress. I mean, if we can get the check valves in place and so on and so forth, then, as we're looking for resiliency grants and so on and so forth, it might take a little bit longer. And then also I want to meet with the neighborhood in January again. And we can meet at their clubhouse this time and, come to them so it's a little bit more convenient for them and give them an update on exactly where we are, with the check valves and the system itself. So as I said, long-term, so some of the long-term solutions, as you know, we have an adaptation plan and vulnerability assessment coming up. It is a result of a grant. We're very comfortable that we're going to get that grant. But this area and Cedar Creek in this area and the creeks, Curlew and Cedar, and the other areas, North Douglas, will be part of that vulnerability assessment to find out exactly what it is we need to do to address sea level rise for our lower lying neighborhoods. One of the things that was discussed is that the neighbors in Baywood Shores, the residents really do understand that there's not a lot we can do about storm surge. There is a seawall in place. that seawall is owned by private individuals. You know, it's part of their lot. And also, as we replace the duckbill, some of them extend out into the water. That's something that we can certainly address quickly. But if we put in a system that's embedded in the seawall, then we're going to have to talk to the property owner. So those types of things are what we're really working on right now. So then long-term, how it is that we work on resiliency in this community. We talked a lot about elevating their structures. They don't feel particularly supported by FEMA or by the city, for that matter, through FEMA, to get the 50% or 50-50 match to elevate your structure. So we're going to work on that as well. That grant program is closed right now, and it doesn't open up, I think it's, again, until June. So I want to be in a position when it opens up again to start shepherding some of these grants through as well. So you know, find out who in that area is interested to do it and just be ready. You know, we talked a little bit about lobbying for them, and there really isn't a lot of lobbying to do right now because, you know, they've submitted to their insurance companies. Just to give you one example, one insurance company apparently told a resident that they are not going to reimburse them fully for the damage because there is a sanitary sewer overflow in the area, and we were pretty adamant, and we still are adamant there was not a sanitary sewer overflow, and we'll be happy to talk to their insurance company and show them all of our information about the operation of the lift stations during that period of time. So one of the things that we were able to address immediately this morning, which was great, was a resident got up and spoke quite passionately and in fact, very eloquently about not being able to put an RV in their driveway. And apparently the resident had called and was given permission to put the RV in their driveway. And then that person left the city, and when they called back again, somebody said no. I talked to that gentleman this morning. Can't find out who said no, but regardless, the answer is yes. The answer is yes. And so, and for anybody in that area who is damaged by the storm and needs to leave their residence, they are permitted by state law to put an RV on their property for up to 3 years.
Yeah, if you drove down in Hialeah after Andrew,
Yeah.
Andrew, that's all you saw.
Right, exactly.
With trailers and RVs in people's yards.
Yeah, and so we got this gentleman on the phone with George Kinney, our Director of Community Development, and Joey DePasqua, who's our Assistant Director of Community Development, and our building official, just to talk a little bit about, you know, if you have an electrical connection, it depends on what that connection is and how powerful it is, essentially, and also with an RV, how you're going to hook up to our sanitary sewer system. And in this case, they were hooking up directly to their outflow. And so we don't touch it, no permits, just put it in your driveway. And so one of the things that I'm going to do too is just to convey to staff, and George is going to do this tomorrow during a staff meeting, that the RV is permitted in the driveway for all those residents who have suffered from the impacts of either the tornado, right, or a hurricane or a storm like that. So, like I said, I mean, you know, for the Baywood Shores residents, it was a difficult meeting, but they've been so impacted. And I appreciate their attendance, I really do. I appreciate their candor, and we are 100% behind them, and we're working on it.
Okay, questions for Jennifer?
I just had one. I'm assuming too, like as we do this, we're going to make sure we're have clear maintenance guidelines, and we're recording that. And I know we're putting in a system now where a lot of that will be automatically recorded and saved, so that we know what's happening and we've got it regimented.
Right. Our current system and the system in the past didn't record standard maintenance. The program that we're putting in place as a result of our ERP now does. So yes.
Good, good.
Anything from you, Rob?
No, I don't think so.
Questions?
You commented about the check valves, so we're all over that, you said.
Yes, sir.
We can implement that almost immediately if in fact that is an issue, correct?
implement immediately, work on it immediately. As far as the check valves, we need a company to come in. It's about the materials, it's about the implementation, that type of a thing. I'm confident we can get it done by hurricane season, but we're immediately working on it.
Did you say that you knew someone that had that system and that very check valve itself?
We do. Yeah, one of the companies that we have on staff or in our continuing services contract, they are aware of the material, they are aware of the valves, they do have them, and they will be on site with Sue Bartlett here, hopefully shortly.
So almost immediately, right?
Yes.
We should be able to take care of that part of it.
Yes.
Thank you.
And if I can just add, Vice Mayor, operational staff was there, Nan Bennett was there, Sue Bartlett, our Director of Public Works, was there, Jorge Quintas, our Deputy City Manager, was there, Mary Sheets, our City Engineer, was there, Sue Burness was there as far as our communications go. Who am I missing? Sue Bartlett. Oh, so Bruce Worth, who is, as you know, an expert in drainage and water flow, if you will. But anyway, they were there and they were listening, is my point. And they understand the urgency of this initiative.
Any questions?
No, ma'am.
I just had a couple. When we did the next day drive around after the hurricane,
Yeah.
and we were out on the causeway, there was definitely storm surge. I mean, there was water all the way up to the road.
Yes, and in fact, we went to the one.
And I mean, which it's right around the corner from.
Right. We went to it was actually up over the seawall.
Yeah.
Yeah, but in this particular case, the residents are telling us who are on the seawall that it did not overflow the seawall. So.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay. I was just trying to understand the difference. I mean, either way, it's an issue that has to be addressed. I'm not trying
Yes.
to mince hair,
Yeah.
details. I just wanted to understand.
Right.
And I guess, I think you've already answered. I was going to say, what does quickly mean? But you've kind of said it, hurricane season. And I do think with the FEMA program, or any of the grant program, yeah, we can get a lobbyist. We have a lobbyist now.
Yes.
So some of
do.
those things, because they're already there in Tallahassee and
Right.
in Washington, and
She was
and
working
go
for us
shepherd-
today
They
on
can
the-
go
on the-
shepherd
right.
some of this through,
Yes.
which again is another benefit of doing that contract. It really is.
Yes.
Because, it would be very difficult for us to get up there. I also just wanted to say that, thank you to the staff and you for putting the meeting together. We've been very concerned about these issues in our city. It's unfortunate that we had 3 different meetings last night that we all had to split amongst them. So we couldn't all be at the Bayward Shores meeting, and I know that was probably upsetting to them, but there's 5 of us and 3 meetings. We all had to go different places.
Right.
So I don't want the residents to think it isn't because we don't care, which is why we're doing this update now to address it. What I think is important is that what we're finding out post-storm is there are issues to be that there are issues to be addressed, and we're going to address them, and we're being honest and transparent about that.
Yes.
And I know that wasn't an easy task for you to stand up and be the messenger, but we appreciate it because that's who we are. We're Dunedin, and we love our neighbors, and we want to take care of the issues. So I really do appreciate that. I know it was difficult for you. Okay, so I'm going to open up citizen input for anybody that wants to come forward and speak to this or any other item that's not already on the agenda. Just give us your name and address for the record, and there'll be, the clock's right there, it'll be 3 minutes.
Claudia Walker, 255 Garden Circle North. Thank you, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Commissioners. I'm here before you on the behalf of the Dunedin Youth Guild. There are many new residents to the city of Dunedin that may not have yet been introduced to this wonderful organization called the Dunedin Youth Guild. Originally in 1946, the group formed to meet the need for increased voluntary service and financial support for the original youth center after Elizabeth Skinner donated the building. It was a small building and quickly became inadequate for a large number of kids. Adults and kids began fundraising for the construction of a larger building. The women volunteers organized the Dunedin Youth Guild Auxiliary to raise funds. The new center was dedicated in '56, and the DYGA was ever present, raising funds for improvements like flooring, plumbing, chairs, recreational supplies. The center was wildly popular. Sadly, in the '60s, attendance started to decline, leaving the DYGA with leftover funds and nowhere to spend them. In the '60s, Dunedin was growing by leaps and bounds, with 3 schools constructed. So after several weeks of deliberation, the DYGA was disbanded. Immediately, the ladies formed and incorporated the Dunedin Youth Guild on September 9, 1964. And next year, we will celebrate our 60th anniversary with 105 members. Primarily, the DYG is a fundraising organization to aid the youth of Dunedin. The first fundraising efforts were to help with the original stadium, sponsoring the Miss Junior Dunedin pageant and ball, the Dunedin Festival, and buying land from the city to build parks. The Dunedin Youth Guild even started the very first old-fashioned Christmas parade that we still celebrate. Today, the 105 DYG members work tirelessly to raise funds for students in classrooms to pay for things such as school supplies, field trips, vegetable gardens, swim lessons, much-needed iPad and computer apps, and most importantly, scholarships. In the past 5 years, DYG has provided over $250,000 in financial assistance to the youth of Dunedin. I'm happy to announce that we've just opened up the season for high school seniors to apply. You can find the application on our website, and there are never too many. To raise funds for these scholarships, we host 2 events each and every year, the Holiday Home Tour of Homes and the Spring Fashion Show. December 2nd, we are hosting the 54th Annual Holiday Tour of Homes from 10 a.m. to 3:30. We have a beautiful boutique set up at the Hale Center, and after a much long absence, we are bringing back the holiday tea. I happen to have some tickets with me for sale today at $30, and if you don't have that with you, you can go online to purchase them. Thank you for your support and your time.
Very good. Thank you. Okay, please, welcome. Give us your name and address for the record.
Hi, I'm Joan Brown Levine. I live at 2402 Baywood Drive West, and I think Jennifer Bramley saw my notes before I came up here, but basically, I prepared a statement, so if you don't mind, it's going to be a repeat of some of the things she mentioned, but I was at the meeting last night, and I think we're all very appreciative that this is going to happen. It's been a long time, and it's been slowly getting worse over the years, and just Idalia just seemed to be the straw that broke the camel's back, I guess. But no, very grateful that the meeting was set up, that, you know, you were there, and Commissioner Freeney, Vice Mayor Tornga was there, and that some action's being taken. But if you don't mind, I'm just going to read some remarks that I wrote. Well, you're well aware of the impact Idalia had on our community. What came out of the meeting last night, after many residents discussed their experience, was that the main source of the flooding came not from storm surge over the seawall, but from water filling up through the storm drains. The streets filled up long before any water breached the seawall, and it wasn't really even that much water coming over the seawall. Our streets were flooded well before the seawalls. Street floodings become more frequent during minor storms and high tides. It's become a real issue. During storms, many of the times the roads in Baywood Shores are impassable, and we get the little high water signs, but, you know, that's even just from a heavy rain or, you know, a tropical storm. One thing that came out of the meeting last night that I think a lot of people were pretty upset about is that of the 11 drains in Baywood Shores, only 7 have backflow preventers. Of the 7 that do have them, most of them have outlived their lifespan and aren't functioning. And there's no maintenance records to show periodic inspections or checks on them. So basically, water is being just funneled right into our neighborhood unimpeded. This news was very upsetting to many residents. Like Jennifer said, there are people who can't live in their homes, people with drywall cut 4 feet up their wall, no kitchen, no appliances, some electrical fires, fires. Everybody's landscaping is ruined, and now, again, like Ms. Bramley said, they're fighting with their insurance company, and most likely will have to pay out of pocket for a significant portion of these repairs. They don't know how to apply for the grants, and people are just kind of lost and very frustrated, as you all indicated, got from last night. But, oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
But again, thank you, and it's really heartwarming to see that something is going to happen. There's going to be deadlines for things to happen, and Baywood Shores as a community is in the process of getting organized to become a major part of this process. So, thank you.
Thank you for coming out. Really, we appreciate it. Yes.
Can we get a reset?
Yep.
Thank you. I'm Joe Price. I live on 2416 Baywood Drive West. And again, a lot of these comments were already stated, and I do appreciate it. I've been in the neighborhood 2 years. I've been a Dunedin resident for almost 40. And I just wanted to go on record with a few things. First and foremost is a thank you. Jennifer and the staff that were there, you were excellent. It was educational for me. The presentation that was put on was well done, and appreciate that. And you provided for Q&A, which sometimes got heated, but understandably. But it was very honest and very open. So this isn't going to be the first. We're going to continue to do this until we want to see it to completion. And we're not asking for anything special. It's normal. And I don't know how the city government works, but we have an issue, and we're in the city, and we pay taxes, and so appreciate that you guys are addressing it. And also, we also appreciate that the commission is divided. That was brought up last night, but having two people there was excellent. So don't feel, it obviously got communicated well to the whole commission here. So I have no issue with that, and I feel so strong that you guys are all behind it. So,
Thank you.
And you got a lot more things to do than this, but this is on the list.
No, this is a definite
That's
big one
great.
on the list.
Just for documentation, I think you know this, but the concern is that this has been a known problem for a long time. And it did come out, and I know it's being addressed, and we all make mistakes, but the fact that no maintenance records are maintained was disappointing.
Yeah.
So note to yourself, I know you've got that as follow-up. So we really don't know. But people have said the floods, the streets get wet, I don't want to say flood, but they back up on sunny days. So there was a storm surge, but absolutely this was caused, the issue, way before the storm surge. And it goes all the way out to alternate 19, the water, if you're familiar with the neighborhood.
I've seen it.
Yeah.
I've seen it.
So that wasn't storm surge.
Yeah.
So that, and I don't
Oh, I
doubt that
totally
there was
get it.
storm
I
surge.
totally get it.
Right. So that was all good. And I kind of break this down into the solution into two phases, short-term and long-term. Grants are great. We need your help. There's money available. We just got to learn how to get it and so forth. Those things take time. So in the interim, I'm very glad the meeting from March is now moved up to January, if I've heard. That's fantastic. We're making a commitment to stay involved. We're going to work at this as a team. You're our representatives. You're residents of Dunedin. We are too. So we appreciate that support's there. I'll just read from here. Our concern, though, is on the short-term solution that the funds aren't there, that they need to be reallocated or reshifted, and we don't want to be better than anybody else, but you've got to have a sense of urgency on this. So what I heard last night is everybody from the city was very much concerned, but we're going to look to see if there's funds. I hope we look hard. I hope we find the funds. Sounds like the short-term solution, the goal of having it done by June 1st should be fine. I'm not sure the duck bills are going to be the final solution, but that certainly I'm no expert, but that certainly seems to be the number one goal on everybody's short-term solution. Would be fantastic. So we just ask you to put yourself in our shoes and give it the appropriate sense of urgency. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Okay.
Anybody else wish to come forward and speak? Okay, well, I think we have our mission, and again, Jennifer, thank you. You know, when you're working through a problem, the first piece of the problem is always the hardest, and then you're breaking off the smaller chunks and smaller chunks and smaller chunks, and then you have a solution. So I think we're committed. I think we can find the money, at least for the short-term things. and by the time we get to the longer-term things, we don't even know what that is, so I can't certainly commit the finances for that until we see it. But I'm very sure, that's why the city has reserves. We have reserves for emergency things that haven't been planned. And so
Absolutely.
we have plenty of reserves in our utilities. So there should be, it'll be painful, but they're there. It's not like we don't have the cash in those funds, and that's why we have it. So thank you guys for coming out. Really appreciate it. Okay.
Mayor, staff
Yes,
did a
ma'am.
great job last night as well, and I'm very grateful to the residents for their comments. Thank you.
Okay. We'll go on to our action items, and that's Resolution 23-06 regarding a request to vacate approximately 8,900 square feet of non-exclusive drainage easement located at 1994 Main Street. So Isabella, would you please read Resolution 2306 by title only?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Resolution 23-06, a resolution of the City Commission of the City of Dunedin, Florida, vacating the perpetual non-exclusive drainage easement recorded in Book 7313, pages 1064 and 1065 of the official records of Pinellas County, Florida, on the northern and part of the western boundaries of 1994 Main Street, Dunedin, Florida, 34698. Parcel identification number 25-28-15-00000-130-03110, consisting of approximately 8,958 square feet, providing for severability and providing for an effective date. Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Commissioners, this has been reading of Resolution 23-06 on first and only reading by title only.
Thank you. Can I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, Vice Mayor Twanga, Commissioner Walker. Mary?
Okay, so this resolution is for the vacation of the drainage easement.
Is your microphone on? Yep, I think it looks like it's on, is it on? There you go.
That helps.
Yes.
Okay. The Mod Wash Car Wash came in for a modification in October of 2022. The revisions included reconfiguring the site and changing the open storm drainage pond to a vault that was underground to retain the stormwater. They previously had an easement over the open storm drain, or open pond, because that was the policy at the time. But they no longer wanted that, and our current policy does not require this. So we're recommending that this easement be vacated.
Okay. Questions for Mary? Questions? Okay. Anybody wishing to come forward to speak to this item? Thank you guys for coming. Okay, hearing or seeing none. Any final comments? Vice Mayor?
I have nothing further.
Commissioner Walker? Commissioner Franny? Commissioner Gao? Okay, I don't either. Looks all reasonable to me. Roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Gao,
Aye.
Commissioner Franny. Aye. Commissioner Walker,
Aye.
Vice Mayor Torga.
Aye.
Mayor Brzezowski.
Aye, and that motion passes unanimously. Thank you. All righty, now we're going to the city clerk's annual performance evaluation. Stop it. First thing I just,
It's going to be long and grueling. No, sorry.
I'm okay to take a break. Anyway, I did want to apologize to my colleagues for getting my eval in so late. I try to be the first one, and last couple times I just haven't been able to accomplish that. It's just been a busy couple weeks, and I appreciate your patience. So I'm sorry that you got a supplement, mid-morning today that you had to look at. So my apologies on that. Teresa, I know you had some things that you wanted to talk about before we dove into this. So
Yes,
go
thank
right
you,
ahead.
Mayor. Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commission. Teresa Smalling, Director of HR and Risk Management for the city. We are here for the Commission to discuss City Clerk Rebecca Schlichter's annual performance evaluation. This is her 4th year with the city, having started in October 2nd of 2019. As is customary with charter officials, usually the evaluation is completed by the commission, and then at the scheduled regular commission meeting, there's a merit increase discussion. This year is a little different because due to the city's class and comp study, which was recently completed, Rebecca's grade was upgraded, which created her being eligible to be at the new minimum of her grade. So similar to other employees, for their 10-1 adjustment, we looked at the greater of the maximum merit increase, which is 3.5 this year, or the minimum of their new grade, or the recommended pay adjustment by the consultant. And in City Clerk Rebecca's case, going to the new minimum was the greatest of the 3 options, which gave her approximately 13% increase. So this year, I believe I spoke with each of you individually and kind of explained it to you, but I just wanted to make sure that I was clear with all of you about the increase that she had already received. So that's it, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Teresa. And in my conversations with Rebecca, she said that she understood that to be the case and was not anticipating anything additional. So that was good. Okay, so when we review the combined annual evaluation form, I mean, you got pretty glowing reviews, girl. I mean, you really did. And a lot of really good comments. So I'll just let everybody make the comments that they want. Anybody that wants to read it, it's online on our website. But you got really very proud of you. So I guess I'll go to Vice Mayor first.
Well, thank you, Mayor. Rather than take a lot of time, because I had a great conversation with the city clerk while we went through this, and I'm real pleased with the action at the city clerk's office. I unfortunately don't get to sit in there and watch the leadership at all times, but whatever I seem to need or require, or whatever I think anybody else needs to seem or require, they seem to get it, and there's a joyful experience in there. So I like to go in there every once in a while to feel good. So how about that? How about if I just leave it at that? So you're the leader of that. So I suppose you must have some kind of a role in that, wouldn't you say? Thank you very much. I'll leave it at that. Thank you.
Commissioner Gao.
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, I kind of yearn for an evaluation like this. For me, I don't know that I'll ever get it. It's very impressive. It's impressive and it's accurate. To echo Vice Mayor's comments, it's going to be a common theme tonight. Just the amazing work that you do, and it's so appreciative. And even the lighthearted personality that is always in the room, but yet as soon as you need something, even with a smile on their face, they are professional. They work hard and diligently and as quickly, as efficiently as they can. Maybe that's so they can get back to their fun. I'm not quite sure. But it is a place where it's one of those departments that you can go to relax. So I know we have that quiet room in City Hall. But if that's full, you can certainly go to the city clerk's office and get the same result. So it's amazing. But thank you. I know that you are so willingly to pass that off to the staff. And that's true, and that's as it should be. But that doesn't happen without a leader as well. So without you there would be a different temperature in that room. It might not be much, but it would be different. So thank you for what you bring. Appreciate it.
Commissioner Franny.
Yeah, I just think you're doing a horrible job. No, I mean, again, you guys get sick of me saying this, but having been in public sector as long as I have, I've seen the good, the bad, and the ugly for city clerks. And I also, having been here when we tried to find our new city clerk, now 4 years later, I just couldn't be more ecstatic about how it all has worked out. I mean, Rebecca, I mean, when I look at even growth areas, I struggle with it because you're all over it. Because you're your own growth finder. You are, if you have a deficit that you think you're not sure about, you are calling 10 different sides of the coin to make sure you understand it, to make sure you get it right. I just, that kind of, the way you push your own self on behalf of the city, it's great. I wrote down a few words: responsive, proactive, smart, honest, nice. And, to not be understated at all, you have built a great team. When you came in, you had a lot of staff challenges, and it got rough on you along the way. We talked about that in the meeting, but you stayed diligent to what your standards were, and now you have this amazing team with Michelle and Tracy and Catherine, and really, you go in that office, and it's warm, it's friendly, it's inviting, it's helpful, it's professional, and you feel like they're having fun too. And that is, which, a little bit of Commissioner Gao's comments.
Could be all the candy.
Yeah, whatever, but it's, and
I sneak down there for a Reese cup every once in a while.
yeah, and you even felt it on, like with the Citizens Academy, that influence of, just inserting that fun and just making it feel good to everybody. So highly ethical, I put highly ethical, explanation, which is so critical, as we all know, in that role of running our elections and just really being balanced about how you run the office. So you've created excellent relationships with other clerks. You actually had them here for a meeting the other day, and, supervisor of election, and again, I can't say enough. I'm thrilled with how you're doing. I'm proud of our clerk's office, and you should be very proud of what you've put together, because you really did put it together. Thank you.
Commissioner Walker.
So I got to know Rebecca pretty well over the course of the campaign, and the 7.5-hour briefing I had in terms of the rules and all the finance things was
He's not exaggerating.
was extremely thorough. I used a lot of the same terms, responsive and proactive, but I am going to add one more term to that, and that is extremely thorough. And I think as the newest commissioner up here, I'm extremely appreciative of that because, even when my first meeting, she was providing me essentially the cheat sheet in order to make sure that
My cheat sheet.
I followed the rules, and she kept me out of trouble. And one of the great things that I've come to know about her is that she's a Navy veteran. And once I found that out, I'm going, well, this makes incredible sense.
It does. Yeah, because she knows every rule out there, and she follows them.
She has literally spent a lifetime preparing for this job, and said I know that she was well-trained. So I appreciate that. I think the biggest takeaway that I've had over the course of the year has been, in this mirrors a couple of comments here, is that she has built incredible bench strength in her department. If there's conflicts with Rebecca attending a meeting, Michelle will step in. If there's a conflict with Michelle stepping in, then we have the rest of her team that just will come down and take care of it. And she had also let me know that she's got some pretty good training lined up for them. And then I think really the final part of this would be is I was so impressed with the Citizens Academy. I thought it was my first exposure to it, and I was thinking this is absolutely a wonderful thing. And then I attended the events that would I thought they were very well organized. There was a lot of passion. There was a lot of excitement. So anyway, job well done. Thank you.
So, Rebecca, I won't repeat what everybody's already said. But a piece of the puzzle that maybe we're not all saying out loud, and I did ask for permission to be able to say this out loud. For the last 2 years, Rebecca has had extreme year and a half health issues that she's moved past and doing really well with. But she managed to move into this new building and build the staff that wasn't there before and create that team and do all of that while being in a very serious health scare. So you add everything that everybody else has said and then put that on top of it where she's working from home when she probably should have been in bed. That's a dedicated employee. You cannot put a price tag on that. So that is what I want to honor you for, because you did all the wonderful things that are expected, all the extra things that bring so much ethical confidence to us. You keep me in line. And if you don't know, it's my job to, as the mayor, to kind of be her day-to-day person to go to if she needs, direction or something. And shortly after she started, she didn't need to do that anymore. We talked a lot in the beginning. We generally have a couple of good long conversations every month now. You're also not in a hole by yourself on some weird road. You're all together with everybody, and your job has become a lot more efficient, and you have that rock star public storage up there for records, and what you do with the citizen advisory committees, all of that, and which is why it's even more important to have a friendly environment, because you do have public people coming in and out at all different walks of life. So I think we're all very happy. In a minute, we'll go over the goals that we all wrote down and make sure we have consensus on that, but I wanted to give Jennifer a chance to.
Now the real stuff comes out.
Well, I just have to say, I'm a little jealous right now.
Yeah, we put you through.
Just kidding. Yeah, my fellow charter officer here is too, so we're just, no. I think courageous this year.
Yeah.
Last year and a half, truly, because the day-to-day work that we do can sometimes be physically demanding as well. It really can, meeting to meeting to meeting, and Rebecca really didn't lose a step. Anytime anybody needed her, she was on the phone, and not just on the phone, but paying attention and, right most of the time about this stuff. So as a Christmas gift, we're actually going to get our agenda items in on time for her for January.
Don't count your chickens.
But, I've been in this business a long time too, and I can tell you, bar none, Rebecca's the best city clerk I've ever worked with. Ever. So, and her staff is, they're also, my happy place. I go in there and hide every now and then, so, no, but actually.
You're not getting the Reese cups?
No. I think most of the people that go to the city clerk's office have just left the city manager's office. They just want to get the heck out of there.
They run down there to event.
That's right, yeah. No, I enjoy working with Rebecca. She's not afraid to challenge. And during department head meetings, that happens sometimes, and she stands her ground. And I appreciate that. That's the kind of people that we want on our management team. And that's the kind of city clerk that you want as well. And so she, as a result of the pay plan too, all the directors were put on the same level. And that is, as far as the same grade goes, and that is so deserved for Rebecca. She was kind of placed according to the old style of where you place your department directors and your city clerk and that type of a thing. So just I look forward to another great year. And we've got lots of things coming up too that are going to challenge Rebecca. So, but I'm just, like I said, I really enjoy working with Rebecca. Couldn't ask for a better fellow charter officer. Don't tell Jennifer Cowan I said that. Yeah. So Well done, and thank you, Rebecca, and thank you for the time, Mayor.
Yep. Isabel, I don't know how much you actually work with Rebecca. I know it's Jennifer Cowan usually.
I know that our office enjoys working with Rebecca immensely. I actually personally have worked with Rebecca a decent amount, and I know we could not, everything that can be said has been said, but working with her is easy. She is so responsive. There was one time where out of necessity, had to do something last minute, and she was right there, right on it. It got us exactly what we needed, but just very, very positive experiences working with Rebecca. She's fantastic, absolutely.
Very good. All right, let's give her a little round of applause. By the way, in her review today, she made a point of telling me that she was going to actually take vacation this coming year to get ready and buckle up because she was going to go travel a little bit.
What?
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Well, that is why you get vacation days, right? To actually use them. Okay, so if everybody will just take a look at the collective goals that we have given. I mean, most of them are the same.
Yeah.
They're all very consistent. Now that she's sort of back in action, she'll be able to work with the city manager and the liaisons on the kind of the committee structure and refocus and consolidations that we talked about, I think, 2 years ago. So I know we already had our first meeting
We did.
about that. So she's like that calm duck on the water with the feet, that are, that's her. Everybody mentioned the election. And she, with some of the new things that she's brought forward with that. Let's see. Policies and procedures, just continuing to maintain those when necessary. Continuing your education. Creating a timeline for implementing efficiencies, that's all part of that
That's
same
all part of
thing.
the same
Yep.
thing.
Prepare election, continue the excellent overall operation of the city clerk's office, and, the committee chart. So I think we all had the same things. Essentially, you have 3 main goals for the upcoming year. I did want to call out something that Rebecca and I discussed today, which I hadn't thought about, is that the Citizen Academy is going to be starting up right as the election is getting really heavy. Kind of starts in August, September, whatever that is. And, the election goes to November. So, she was just a little worried because it's very in-depth, as you know. So anything that we can do to help her this year, if it's needed,
We'll see how it's.
Yeah, but I
It's hard to know
just want to
until
call
it's
that out
going
to
on.
everybody, because that is a lot, and you don't want mistakes to happen in either situation.
Well, the election is mission critical, to be
Oh,
sure. so,
well, it is.
yeah.
So I just point that out. I'm not saying it can't be achieved. It's just, it's just an additional stress. Does anybody have anything else they want to add? Can I get a little hand wave of consolidate, or?
I just want to add, I am so glad that you brought up Rebecca's health challenges because she's so seamless that you can forget.
Yeah.
And she went through hell, and you're right, and she kept things going and built her team at the same time. So really, I'm glad you said it because it's amazing, really, Rebecca, what you did. It really is.
Thank you.
And I'm just grateful that you're doing well now.
Thank you.
Don't you do it, because you're going to send me over the edge if I'm watching you, don't do it.
But I think.
It's like Dave, every time Dave would get a tear in his eyes, I'd start bawling,
It's pretty amazing, and I,
Well, it is, and I appreciated that she gave me the permission to say that in public. Okay, so I just want to make sure I got consensus direction on the goals that we've, as listed here. Yes? 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 Okay.
Yes. Do I get a yes?
No.
I didn't think so.
I love you, but no.
I know.
No, but I wanted to make sure you heard that consensus direction, because
Yes,
it's
ma'am.
something we're already working on.
Yes.
I just
I
want to
got
make
it.
sure you heard that restated
Yes,
2
I
years
did.
later.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right, so I'm not going to I don't need to do a motion
No,
for that, right?
no, I
Okay.
don't think so.
All right. And then we have the proposed agenda for the December 7th commission meeting. So at the November 14th work session, the city commission voted to combine the December 5th and the December 7th meeting to one. On December 5th, we will be here most of the day.
Mayor, do you mind if I have just a quick?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Oh, I didn't give you a chance to respond. My bad.
No, I'm sorry.
I'm very, that was bad of me.
No, wow, I am so humbled. I'm so touched by all of your reviews, your kind words. And I just I have to call out my staff. You talk about the atmosphere. That atmosphere was not there 4 years ago. It wasn't there 3 years ago. It's just how it's come together. Of course, we miss Janice, her 31. You can't replace that but Tracy has really stepped in, and each of them are amazing. I just cannot. I could not do what I do without each and every one of them. Michelle started 1 week before my cancer diagnosis. I'm literally sitting down, getting ready to go have surgery, and trying to train her and be in her backup to come to these meetings. She hadn't done any of that because she'd been on board for literally a week. So I sit here and I appreciate all of the kind words, but my staff is amazing, and they are the backbone of the clerk's office. And so I just wanted to put that out there, but thank each of you for your kind words and your support. I so appreciate it. And I will definitely thank my staff in the morning.
Oh, they're watching.
They're probably
Are
all
you kidding?
listening.
They're watching.
But,
I mean, if my boss was getting reviewed, I'd be watching.
but I needed to put that out. And I thank them on a regular basis, but they truly, it's got my name on it, but really it should have all of our names on that. So I just wanted to, again, let them know how much I appreciate them, and thank you all for your trust in me and your support, and I truly appreciate it. So,
Tell that husband to take you on that vacation.
so thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, back to the proposed.
Well, I just want to, you said most of the day, but just to remind.
You have a 1:30 hard
I have
stop,
a
I remember.
1:30 hard, yeah, and it is a critical hard stop.
Yeah.
Okay.
I guess we can't eat lunch on the dais. That would look bad, right?
Yeah, I don't think it's a good optic.
There's no workshop, so I think we
Just have
should be
to be,
okay.
There's a lot of things
brief and
happening.
brilliant.
I
Yeah, I
know.
like that.
Brief.
Brief and brilliant.
Do I get a vote on that?
Nope. Okay, so we do have this November 14th, we do have this vote to combine the December 5th and the December
We already did that.
7th. Oh, so we don't have to do anything? Well, then why is it here?
Because it was already on the
confuse me?
agenda. Yes. Because it was already on the,
See, you had to do something.
it was
Because
already.
those are the rules, and she follows them. and-
She does.
God, I'm just reading what you wrote for me. Okay.
Yes, so you don't have to do it.
Okay, does anybody have any informational items that we need to go over?
Mayor, if I can,
Yes.
just real quickly, tomorrow's a holiday party for everybody.
Yep.
I think that's my job to remind you, but more importantly, not more importantly, because nothing's more important than the staff. Sorry about that. But the Celtic Festival on Saturday starts at 10, ends at 6. It's going to be a great day. See everybody there.
And I did message Eric to tell him what was going on with Sammy's service, and I have now decided I'm just going to go to the after event. It's not a party, but an event, so that I can spend a decent amount of time at Celtic Festival and then show respect to the McVicker family.
And just real quickly, the schedule is for the things that are concerning to us. It starts at 10, The city pipe band, grade 4 is at 10:15, middle school is at 10:30, the high school will perform at 12:30, Island Sky Dancers at 2:45, and the city band, grade 1, at 3:15.
Yeah, we'll
And there's
probably
other
we'll
bands
miss
in
the
between, but-
3:15 for sure. Okay. But we can be there for maybe the high school band, the 12. The service starts at 2, and then whatever's after that. So, I mean, I think we can get to, when you think John, Sam's by 4, if we get there by 4, that's a reasonable,
I think so. Sammy will be appreciative of whatever.
yeah. Okay. Anything else from anybody?
Well, can I just ask one question?
Sure.
before we go? Can you just tell me what happened at the golf cart presentation last night? Was there any?
She doesn't know.
What I did hear is that it went very well.
Yeah, I heard it.
That folks seemed to be pleased with the presentation, and we got some good comments.
There were a lot of people here, apparently.
A lot of people, yeah, it was standing room only, right? Yeah, so,
People love their golf carts.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to say, last night, really, I'm going to repeat again. Jennifer, again, you were great. It was a tough night, and you navigated it well in a caring, compassionate, honest, transparent way.
thank you.
It was tough, but, and I admire you for that. And the staff was
Staff did great.
also fantastic. They're not easy meetings, but it went as well as it could have gone. And I really appreciate the sense of urgency that you got on this and the great summary today before the meeting. or
Oh,
beginning of
Thank
the
you,
meeting.
thank you,
Thank you.
Commissioner.
Anybody else have anything? Okay, I do know DCO's in the morning, right?
Yep.
That's you, right? Isn't it you?
No, I think it's Jeff.
Oh, Jeff, you poor thing.
You did a great job last time, so pressure's on for Jeff.
He killed it.
You did great last time, so he's setting a standard.
He really did.
He is.
There's a blind squirrel to find them.
Oh, my. My. Wait a minute, there was, what was I? You guys saw the numbers for visitors? For the year? Did we already talk about this? We didn't get a chance to do any of our updates at Tuesday's meeting. That's why I was like thinking, I know there was something I wanted to tell you all, and I can't remember. We are getting closer on the waterborne transit thing. Jennifer, myself, and Whit and the team met this week. We think we have some funding options. There's another meeting being set up with the city of Clearwater, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got information on that today, as a matter of fact.
I think I got something, but I don't know. So that's all moving along very well. Trying to think, TDC. I don't know. I had it Tuesday and I didn't take my notes, so. Okay, if there's nothing else for the good of the order, happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Enjoy your families, and we'll see you back here in December.
Cool.
We are adjourned.
So where do you live? How far you- No kidding.